Hello there, this video is all about my treacherous journey with the infamous hair replacement system. Let me just start off by saying it was the worst thing I could have done about my hair replacement because I endured it and its pitfalls for over a year. So in this video I will tell you exactly what works with hair systems and what's pure agony, and most importantly the things that salons and wig manufacturers don't tell you and don't want you to know about living with them long term. I'm starting off with the point that everyone checking out this video knows what a hair replacement system for men is. Those who don't, it's essentially a wig which you tape on or glue to your scalp and which covers the bald patch only. And when blended with your natural hair at the back, it gives a good impression of natural full hair.
Here's a picture of the last system I used, and believe me when I say I'm glad I don't use it anymore.
So let's start with the positives. It does look good, but short term. When you do go to a salon and have it freshly fitted, it does look great. You come out feeling on top of the world.
And these are pictures of me on a good hair day, or a good weekday if you like. But honestly, not only they were few and far between, but also, like you learn in the rest of this video, they were fraught with hassle and shortcomings.
However, a system is not a one-day thing. Once you take the plunge and decide to have a wig on, it has to look great and it has to look the same for the rest of your life. And let me tell you, unless you are filthy rich or have plenty of free time on your hand, it won't. So here's a long list of why you should never ever have a hair system. First, if anything, there's an easy, permanent, hassle and mess-free alternative, and that is a hair transplant. I had one done 3 months ago.
These are pictures of me before and after the operation, and you can see for yourselves that it does look better and definitely more natural than a hair system.
And even price-wise, it cost me less than what I had spent on hair systems and their accessories for a year. And the beauty is, I don't have to put up with any of the mess and struggles of hair systems, including the fact it's so pricey. Mine were one of the cheapest, considering the quality. They are one of those whose base lasts up to a year, but the hair on it lasts 6 months maximum. Then you have to send it to be topped up. They charge £750 sterling per system, and they ask you to make an order for 2 to start with, plus I think around £200 top-up fee each time you want to top up the hair. Plus at least £250 a year for glues, tapes, shampoos, oils and protein sprays. So that's a total of £2,400 for 2 years, or £1,200 a year. That's before you factor in any fitting sessions, which are about £100 each. I learned to fit mine myself the hard way. But a lot of the people don't have the time or the ability to glue or tape their own system. And salons tend to give monthly memberships for regular fittings running in the region of £200+ a month. Which if I did take up, yes, I wouldn't have had to deal with the mess of fittings myself, but it would have taken up my yearly cost to around £2,500. And this is considered a reasonable price for a bespoke system and service fees. With some other salons, you'd be lucky to spend anything less than £3,000 or £3,500 a year. Some may have come across ordering generic systems online, where you send them your head measurements and hair sample and select from a list of specifications, then they'd send you a system back for as little as $100 plus shipping. Well, having done that too, it was a $200 down the drain because the system wasn't even remotely close to my natural hair. It was Chinese, very dark and shiny with an almost synthetic look, so I just threw it away. And that's the risk with online ordering. You may very seldom get a good match, but without the face-to-face interaction, when the system doesn't turn out to be a match, you cannot do much about it because the company will just say, you made the online selections yourself. And it turns out they don't look at the hair sample at all, just the online choices of style, texture and color, which you select yourself. So in a nutshell, if you want to do it properly, it'll break the bank, and if you want a cheap cheat, you risk throwing your money away. Third, if like me, you don't have the money to pay for regular fit-ins, you have to learn how to fit it yourself. And let me tell you, it was a sticky affair. Learning to handle glue on hair when you're not qualified is not nice. I must have gotten the hang of it after 3 months or 12 times. I used to fit them once a week, and with the stringy glue brand I was using, it used to take me hours to wash the old glue off the old system and put new glue in, and endless times of getting it onto the hair itself, and therefore countless hours struggling to get rid of that. Basically, I never used to look forward to Sundays when I had to do that, because basically it took over all my Sundays. I'm glad those days are behind me. 4. No matter what haircut you get on the system, if you're walking in windy conditions or, heaven forbid, running outdoors, then make sure to take a mirror with you, because all you'll be thinking is, does my hair look terrible, or is my glue or front line exposed?
And these are pictures of me on bad hair days, and frankly there have been mainly bad hair days than good ones during the entire times when I was wearing a hair system.
5. Salons have you believe that you can swim with your hair system. A lot of providers in fact have adverts of models swimming to show you can do pretty much anything and lead a normal day-to-day life with a hair system. I myself was lured in by that, but again, unless you are filthy loaded with money and can have a fit-in after a swim, then the bare truth is water and glue is never a good combination. The level of paranoia you get when you swim with a system on is unbelievable. You worry all the time that your front line with the tape or glue is exposed, or worse, that it comes off. And if you're wearing goggles, then forget it. That risk is multiplied, and the risk of the system coming off from the goggles' elastic rubber is very likely. The number of times I missed on snorkeling or a diving trip while on holiday is unbelievable. It simply is not worth it. 6. If you're a single, sexually active man and lucky enough to engage in sex with non-regular partners, then be prepared for paranoia, because what new partner in bed isn't going to want to touch your hair mid-session? Half your attention will be on, please don't touch my hair, please don't scroll it back, please don't out me as a wig wearer, when you really want your full attention to be on performing. Did this happen to me on numerous occasions? Well, I plead the fifth on that one. 7. Simply put, you can no longer have a bath in which you dip your head in water when wearing a hair system. Like I said before, water and glue are not friends, and warm water and glue are even less of friends. And even if you don't dip your head in water, just the steam coming out of the bath will change the tape or glue from dry, like it should be, to tacky and wet, meaning it would be susceptible to mixing with the hair itself, which you never want. 8. You do need breaks from constantly wearing the system. I used to take it off on Saturdays, and if I go out or work out that day, I used to wear a cap and then put the system on the following day. However, there will be times when you get an occasion to have your hair on a Saturday and on a short notice. And when that happens, it's a nightmare, because you can never rush the cleaning and fitting process. And also, I noticed with time that it takes at least a night post-fitting for the hair to start looking more natural, so having to fit it in a rush may lead to a nasty surprise. 9. Working out can be messy. Let's just say the sweat and heat from the heavy workout not only makes the tape or glue become tacky and wet, but the base itself on the front line could come off, and that happened to me many a times. Sometimes at the start of the session itself, which leaves me worrying for the rest of the session about gluing the base back in by constantly pressing on it, instead of time spent on enjoying the workout. That's the other thing. If you comb the hair back, the risk of the front line coming off and being exposed is much higher, like nearly on a daily basis if, like me, you work out 4 to 5 times a week. That's not to say that even if you do comb it forward, you won't have days when you could be exposed. 10. Stigma. I personally work freelance online from home, so I was lucky enough not to have colleagues in a normal office setting, because if you work in an office or anywhere that has nothing to do with the art or hair industry, like acting, dancing or hairstyling, then expect a vicious reaction from colleagues. I saw it many a times in hair replacement forums where the sudden change in guys' look from bald to having a full set of thick hair overnight will lead to daily ridicule, because While you may call it a sophisticated hair system, all people who know you see and know is a man with a wig. And many of those guys had to stop wearing their systems after the daily pressures, having forked so much money on them. So all in all, embarking in the hair system route is many things. It is costly, it is time consuming, it can repeatedly stop you from doing lots of things you enjoy in life, and it can also subject you to the worst ridicule. Luckily, all that can be avoided. Like I said, this is me 3 months post hair transplant operation, and I couldn't be happier. Do please check out my hair transplant video where you can see me before and after. So not only it looks good considering I was severely bald and it would look even better with time, but also I don't have to deal with all the shortcomings I had to endure when wearing a wig. I can swim mess-free, I can have baths mess-free, I can hook up without worrying about my hair secret being exposed. I don't worry about the wind, I don't worry about the excessive sweat during workouts, I don't worry about some people staring at my hair suspecting it is a wig. No more messing around with glues, no more ruined weekends, and no more costly fitting appointments, and all of that at a cheaper one-off price than a hair system. If you are happy with the bald look, that's great. I personally was fine with it until the age of around 30, because what happens with age is the skin's color pigmentation comes down. So you get paler with age, and pale and bald is not a good combo. I was fine with bald and tan, but not with bald and pale. Like I said in my other video, I am 40 years old, and knowing what I know now about hair transplants, provided they are done with the right surgeon, because let me tell you, there are plenty of botch jobs around. But provided you are lucky enough like me to pick the perfect surgeon and realize how easy, risk-free, scar-free, as well as cheap it is, I wish I had it done 10 years ago. There you have it, guys. If you want to know more about my hair transplant, where I had it done, or prices, you can leave me a message on my WhatsApp or Facebook, which I left on the description section. If you like my video, please don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you, guys.